Hi guys, so today's video is a foundation routine video, and this is specifically for foundation for bridal makeup, for photography, for any special occasion makeup where there will be any sort of flash photography. This is the kind of makeup that you're going to want to wear. Most likely your photographer at a wedding isn't going to be using a flash, depending on the situation, but there will be other people there that will be using a flash, and so you don't want to be tagged on Facebook with a white ghostly looking face. So this is going to prevent that, and just, you know, make sure that all of the products that you're using, from your moisturizer, primer, powder, foundation, are, you know, not going to have an SPF in it. That way you're safe, just in case you want to be on the safe side. So if you're interested in seeing how to do foundation for those occasions, then go ahead and keep watching. Okay, so usually I would start with the eyes and then I would move on to foundation if I were working on a client. So I went ahead and just primed my eyelids with the Urban Decay Primer Potion in Eden, and it's sort of like a primer and concealer in one because it's tinted. So I applied that, and also before I did that, you want to make sure to apply some type of moisturizer. That way your skin is not dry, it's going to be comfortable. So I either recommend using like the MAC Oil Control Lotion if you have like oily skin, or the Studio Moisture Cream if you have drier skin. You can also use something like an elixir, which this is like a serum and it just absorbs right into the skin, or you can use just something from Neutrogena. Neutrogena always has good products. So this is a sensitive skin, so it's going to work really for any skin type, and it's really lightweight. So now I'm going to go ahead and apply a primer, and today I'm using the Makeup Forever HD primer, and this is just the clear primer. And I'm just going to use my fingers and just pat it on the skin. I love the scent of this. It smells really good. Okay, and there are a few different foundations that you can use. Make sure it doesn't have any SPF in it. Same with the moisturizer. Make sure it doesn't have an SPF because that's what makes the flash in photography sort of like bounce off of it and appear white in photos. I know that most photographers aren't going to be using a flash, but there are going to be people at like a wedding or an event that if they're taking flash photography, if they bring their own cameras, it's going to look that way in their photos. So you just want to be safe and make sure you wear something without any sunscreen in it, and that's why I'm using the products that I'm using today, just to give you an idea of what products don't have sunscreen in them. So for foundation, when I'm doing makeup on clients, I like to use the MAC Full Coverage Foundation. Sort of acts as a concealer. It doesn't have any SPF in it, and basically it's the same thing as the Studio Finish Concealer, except for the SPF. This is SPF 30, and this one is a little bit creamier. So that's what I like to use. You can also use like a Makeup Forever HD foundation, and I do have a sample of that here. As far as my skin, for oily skin, this doesn't last very well on me, so if you have normal to dry skin, that would be a better choice. So I'm going to go ahead and just take a little bit of my full coverage foundation. I'm going to scrape it off with a little spatula, and I'm just going to start applying it with my fingers. And of course, if I were doing it on somebody else, I'd use a brush, but because it's me, it's fine. So the good thing about this, like I said, is it also acts as a concealer, so it's going to conceal everything, and it doesn't feel too heavy. It's just a really good foundation for photos. And I'm using the color NC30. And I can always go back in and darken up with a bronzer, but just to sort of make everything just really flat and concealed, this is just going to work really good for that. So it looks a little bit light, that's okay. Okay, now for any sort of darkness under the eyes or in the inner corner, I'm using the Bobbi Brown Corrector. I'm in light to medium bisque, and I'm just using a small concealer brush, and I'm just going to take that into the inner corner And just right there where I'm going to get, where I have any sort of like purple or blue tones, the corrector is going to balance that out and make it look less bluish. Okay, now anywhere else that I might need to conceal, I'm just going to use that full coverage foundation and just go back and conceal anywhere that I need to. Any blemishes or spots, discoloration areas around the nose, around your mouth, and I especially get red like right in this area. Also on the outer part of the eye, you want to conceal right there because it can be a little dark right there too. Okay, so now I have everything concealed, and I'm going to go in with a powder, and I'm using the Cargo Blu-ray powder, and this doesn't have any SPF in it, so it's not going to give that white cast. Again, you always have to think about not using a sunscreen in any of your products. So I'm just going to use like a smaller brush, and I'm just going to tap that on. You could use a powder puff or whatever type of brush you would like. If you would like just a light sweep, you can use a bigger, fluffier brush. I'm just going to take it all over my eyelids. And anywhere that you're going to be like a little oily or shiny, you might want to get that area like your T-zone and then on your chin. Okay, so that's it for my foundation. Now I'm going to go in with a little bit of bronzer. I'm using my Bobbi Brown blending brush. This is a face blender and Hoola bronzer from Benefit. And that's what the packaging looks like. And I'm just going to contour with this. And you're going to want to take it from the ear down toward the corner of your mouth, but I like to kind of stay on this side of my eye. Also get on the temple and then jawline. Bring it down onto my neck. And then I just like to blend it in all over, just so that everything is blended. And I'm not adding anything to the brush, I'm just kind of blending whatever is on my face. Okay, now for blush, this is really whatever you choose to use. You can use, you know, whatever brush you would like. I'm going to be using Dandelion from Benefit because I really feel like it's just a light, pretty color. It just gives like, just kind of warms up the face. Not warms because it's a cooler shade, but it just adds a really pretty sort of like flesh color to your skin. So I'm just going to apply a little bit to my cheeks. See, it's just like a light wash of color. And then you can always go back with another blush. I'm going to be using Dollface from Tarte, that same brush. I'm just going to apply that just to the top of my cheeks. And this is really going to stay all day. I'm going to kind of bring it up onto my temples to blend it in a little bit. Now I'm taking just a big fluffy brush, and I'm going to blend everything together. Okay, now for a little bit of highlight, I'm just using Honeymoon from Hard Candy, and I'm just going to use just a little bit of this, not too much, just to highlight my cheeks. So I'm just going to take it right on top of my cheekbones. And just above my upper lip, and then right here, just at the very top part of my nose, I'm going to put a little bit right there. And then I'm just going to take my fluffy brush and just sort of blend everything. Okay, so that's it for my foundation routine for photos and wedding and any type of photography. I hope you enjoyed this video and you found it helpful, and I will see you guys very soon. Bye!